fax machine before email, or dial-up before broadband, Vine before TikTok, and car forums before Facebook. There's always a predecessor that housed a ton of people for a very brief period of time before going on to the next big thing. Except some people stay behind. Determined are thee who still use a fax machine because broadband internet is spying on me. Everything is, Grandpa. Everything is, okay? There's a car platform that without it, we'd be mere babies, waddling around on the ground, bragging about 200 horsepower out of the rear-wheel drive domestic base model Mustang, okay? I'm Alex Martini with 2 underscores, and today we're talking about the matrix of cars, the Star Wars series before it got weird, the car that if you still own in 2023 and modify, you're immediately better than almost everyone else. We're talking about how to modify the 2G Mitsubishi Eclipse. MartiniWorks is the home for automotive enthusiasts. We're bringing back build threads, which you can check out on the site. And if you're looking for car parts, mod your car at MartiniWorks. You're talking to real human beings that care about the car scene and are involved. We promise, okay? Look at the people we've suckered into writing about their experience with us because we're starting over. Dakota, put a 5-star review right here. The Mitsubishi Eclipse, the official car for people with brash opinions that are right, but the delivery is still wrong. The second generation, known as the D30, was meant to appeal to a wider audience, coming in with convertible options, a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated 4G64, or a 2-liter turbocharged 4G63. You may have heard of that acronym before, because that's the goddamn granddaddy of engines. It's one of the best, okay? The grandpa recipe that's written on a 4x5 note card that's awkward shade of yellow now that's 46 years old that you pick out every Thanksgiving. From 1980, this tuxedo engine has been used in every goddamn car humanly possible because Mitsubishi is like Mazda. If it's working, squeeze that motherfucker dry. The Galant, Starion, Chariot, Delica, Cordia, Lancer Evolution, and of course its weird stepbro relationship with the Plymouth and Eagle all had some version of this goddamn thing. Did you know that there was a 1.7-liter version of this thing that was built for a McLaren F1 Evo? Booyah! The engine, okay, is the reason that this car was successful. Why? Because the Eclipse got to cheat off the Evo's homework. Thicker connecting rods, 6 or 7 bolt configurations, and the magic Lowry sauce? It was a closed deck. Did it get hot? Yeah, it did. But does it hold boost? Absolutely. 30 years ago, really well. Now, most people owning 2Gs have the 2.4-liter 4G64 engine, which isn't like what I just discussed, but that's okay. Eclipse also had a GSX, which is baller because my buddy Curtis has one, and it's scary as hell. And it's a convertible, and he's smiling the whole time, but it still makes very dangerous noises. And even though these cars had, at their peak, 210 horsepower from factory with the 4G63, or 140 horsepower out of the Chrysler 428 that Gels had, it was a looker, okay? The 2G Mitsubishi Eclipse, the official car for people who love or host chin straps on their face. If you're on the fence of buying one, save money for the turbo. It's going to love you like a stray cat loves you when it's hungry. The Eclipse was so good because when it dropped, it came at a price that was lower than the Evo overseas. And for us people in the country with 4 of the top 10 largest air fleets in the world, it was a perfect combination to still kind of get a tuner little experience, but feeling like it was a domestic purchase, America. You see, this era was before you could get really a well-domesticated option 4-cylinder turbo car that wasn't insanely overpriced. People who still had a touch of the old domestic love of drag racing flocked to this car. And the support that has stayed around for the last 3 decades is because of that very passionate and, dare I say, difficult audience. So how do you modify a 2G Eclipse? Well, let's get into it as the intro for Need for Speed Underground starts playing. Just don't swap out the back end for a Supra. That's kind of weird these days. The 2G Eclipse is one of the best looking cars of all time. The 1996 Eclipse GSX will always be a staple to own, and I hope one day to keep one around myself. The only problem is these cars have been used more than Wikipedia getting rejected for donations by, well, pretty much every single user. The 2G Eclipse, the official car for back in my day, except that people are single and 42, they're not 80. The Eclipse is gorgeous, but not perfect. Transfer case issues way back in the day caused crashes, impacting resale value. There was a thrust bearing failure, known as the good old crank walk, which is not a dance by T-Pain, but a pain in the ass to deal with. According to the internet, the clutch pedal just casually got tired of getting pressed, and then it would stay down there when you made a left-hand turn. The little analogy I have is if the crank walked. You did too. But the biggest pain in working on these cars are what you start with and where you go to learn. The community has been tough and still is. People loved to neglect these cars. They were affordable turbo tuner cars, so what do you expect? They cut corners with builds, and over the course of 30 years, you end up buying something that on the outside kind of looks clean, but the inside is filled with bondo and disappointment. Standard parts are easy if you want to modify this car. BC Racing makes great coilovers that you can get from us below, in stock, ready to go. Wheels and tires we've seen go back to like 17x8 plus 35 with 235/45 tires. For wheels, a common pick seems to be the RPF 1 or Koenig Ampliform. The offset and fitment is a bit narrow on these cars, so get a design that looks good with a flat profile versus trying to get something with concavity. Once that's done, you're actually done. Congratulations. Video over. Wait, what's that sound? It's a weird noise. I didn't think I'd hear that before. What? That's right, the Tune Zone, okay? There's only 2 wheels. There's only 2 ways you can build this car, ladies and gentlemen. Either a modest 250 horsepower clean example, nice and fresh and ready to rock and roll, or a 900 horsepower death trap drag car that's going to run a 6-second quarter mile because the owner has decided to not save at the last checkpoint. Most people would tell you that to properly modify these cars would be to go back into the injectors, go with the speed density versus the GMFs, and actually go grab a better ECU. Okay, that's kind of like where they say, because a lot of that shit is going to be either broken or terrible. But if you want an easier mod to start with, a K&N intake while removing your boost controller solenoid restrictor can give you some more boost and a better breather, okay? You can also remove the blow-off valve dump tube for more airflow, but any air changes or fuel changes must come with a tune conversation. Exhaust like a PEC-C with a downpipe is another easy way to go into your exhaust and get some cool power. You're gonna wanna go into your cooling system with a new intercooler kit. Most of the stuff you're gonna touch on this car is actually pretty simple and it's pretty basic from a category perspective, okay? Because you've got wheels, you got tires, suspension, intake, exhaust, injectors, and now you got 160,000 mile 2G that is gonna start giving you a hard time. Welcome to DSM ownership. You can either choose to dive into your problems by fully replacing things or trying to fix the issue itself. Here's a great example. Common things like electrical gremlins are now more commonly solved by just doing a complete ECU change with a new dash like Haltech or ECU Masters than trying to just go find out what's causing the issue because the electrical system is 30 years old. This eliminates the 10 gauges you're going to need to have to monitor all your temps and pressures. But if you don't do that, you'll want to invest in something to keep an eye on all of it because it can and will misbehave. Most people put gauges in their cars because it looks cool. If you own a 2G Eclipse, you're doing it because you have to. Now here's the thing. I can already hear the comments of 2G owners that have had this platform for 20 years typing up a storm in the comments, getting absolutely irate at the generalization that I'm doing on this car. Do it. Drop as much information here as you want, and if you're gonna modify one of these, expect the same, because this community is insanely passionate. They're extremely knowledgeable, and they're extremely thorough with the cars, because those that are left modifying these ones are the ones that had to fix all the ups from the previous owners. They're going to be the ones to tell you that a street car should have the HKS 264 272 exhaust combo versus just going with the 272 intake exhaust combo for your cams. It's insane, and it can't just be covered in a video because I feel like I would be even doing a disservice to the platform, and the community that still supports these high-end builds have a ton of information, so do your research. Turbo choice, head swap, fuel, etc. are all capable of playing with, but be forewarned. Getting into this can be expensive, and it is an insanely time-consuming car to modify. The terrible thing about these cars is that they represent an era that's past. It's a platform that, if fully built, might just leave one of you behind. The ones up north have rusted subframes so bad that to work on the car requires a 30 rack, 6 friends, free reign to scream profanities, and wishful thinking. It's the best and worst decision you'll ever make in your life to owning a 2G Eclipse. DSMs are kind of like RBs. If you leave the engine uncracked, you're kind of good to go to like 300 horsepower, but if you crack that thing open, you've opened up the Pandora's box. But instead of disease and death, it's just you, a fully grown adult, lying on the freezing garage floor debating on pivoting your passion exclusively to welding and getting out of cars entirely. And the non-turbo versions aren't exclusive to this, so be careful if you buy one. So how do you modify a 2G Eclipse? Easy, baby. You grab $10,000 for the car and another $10,000 for the car and jump into the freezing pool that's called DSM life, where you quickly realize you either bought a car from a 42-year-old angry man that hates what the tuner car culture has become, or a 19-year-old that's actually the 16th owner and learned that crank walk isn't a rap dance. Okay, from there you dive headfirst first into suspension updates, tires, and wheels from Martini Works so the car doesn't feel like it's rattling apart, which it will, because when you actually go to install said coilovers, you'll learn about why you should have looked underneath the car before buying, because guess what? Spoiler alert, there is always rust. After starting a new full-time job, also known as Why Did Mitsubishi Do This? Garage technician, you'll find that this 2-liter turbocharged or 2.4-liter naturally aspirated car should have stayed in 1998 because 2023 ain't got the time to 3D design new motor mounts for the cluster that's falling apart. But I will say this, because after investing another $5,000 on top of the $10,000 into the car to look like the dream car you always wanted when you were 16, and you actually get it running with boost and a steering feedback that feels right, you will fall in love with this chassis because Mitsubishi gave us something special with this car. It's just something that makes you work for the result versus just giving it to you because you bought it. It is the ultimate definition of it will not love you until it feels you have earned it. But what's the most important is that when you go to buy your own 2G Eclipse, you get your parts over at Martini Works, because quite frankly, we give a shit about rebuilding your car. DSMs and the whole car community with the build threads and everything with quality parts, that's what we're all about. And if you already have a DSM or 2G already, add it to our build threads. Drop a comment below on one thing you wish you knew before jumping into this car. I'm Alex Martini with 2 underscores on Instagram. Godspeed as you enter the forums of 2Gs, and we'll see you on the next one. I actually did research, and the first thread I saw, it was completely derailed by an angry old man, so I feel like I'm pretty good at this.